Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative Podcast. It's the podcast where we have digital discussions from the worlds of social media, pop culture, and sometimes sports. I'm joined by an actor, Radek Lord, who recently has been in Ballers on HBO, played Jimmy, and has been in a Super Bowl commercial with Olivia Munn. Radek Lord, welcome to Popternative, man.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Absolutely. And I gave you a little bit of a brief intro there, but you've been busy, man. You've been in Ballers with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and on HBO, and that Super Bowl commercial. It's exciting times for Radek Lord.
Yeah, I hope it keeps rolling forward, because this is like the, peak of my career right now.
Absolutely. So talk a little bit about, for people that don't know about Radek Lord, I mentioned a little bit, but talk a little bit about how long you've been acting, how the role on Ballers came to be, and just a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born in Costa Rica. Okay. So I was born and raised in Costa Rica for about 10 years before I moved to Belgium, and then I moved to the United States. But actually, in Costa Rica is where I got my start with acting. When I was around 5, I believe, I recorded my first radio commercial, and I had no idea what I was doing. My mom took me to a recording studio, and they gave me the lines, and I was in a booth, and everyone's behind the glass, and I'm like, what is going on? They're like, hey, just read the lines and blah blah blah. I was like, okay. So I read the lines, and they're like, okay, now do it like with inflection. And so anyway, like 20 minutes later, I was like, that was weird. And then a couple months later, I'm driving to school with my dad and my brothers in the car, and on the radio comes my commercial, and I'm like, no way, that's what I was doing? You mean the voices on the radio are recorded like somewhere? So that was just like, it like sparked my interest in acting, and since then, I've been like working my way up. So I started doing radio in Costa Rica. Then when I moved to Belgium, I got introduced to theater. Then when I moved to Cincinnati, that's when I got introduced to like commercials. And then Cincinnati started getting like bigger and bigger roles. So commercials to like TV shows to like small roles in movies, and then bigger roles in movies. And then I moved out here. I've been out here for 3 years, California.
Awesome, very cool. And like we talked about before we went on air as well. You were in a Super Bowl commercial with Olivia Munn, and it was just that must have been just total excitement from your friends and family as well. And I saw an interview that you did where you didn't even realize that it was going to maybe come on, and you were like, guys, that's me! Oh my god, it was pretty funny to see.
Yeah, no, it was funny because I was with all my friends, and we're all like at a Super Bowl party, we're all just chilling, and it was really exciting that it was going into overtime, first overtime ever, which means my commercial was the first overtime commercial ever, and I had no idea that the proactive commercial was gonna show.
Yeah.
So I'm there, everyone's on their phones because everyone's freaking out about overtime. And I'm on my phone, I hear the bloop, 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 the proactive intro of my commercial. And I've seen my commercial so many times, so like I knew exactly what that sound was. And I go, it was slow motion. I go, no way. And so I'm the first one at the party to look up at the TV, and I'm like, and I start freaking out, and I like my friends all start to look up, and they're all like, no way does he have a commercial on right now. And all the friends that I had over, they're not actors, they're not Hollywood friends, they're friends I made in college, so they don't care about like acting stuff, but like a Super Bowl commercial, like they were freaking out about. So it was kind of cool having that audience with me rather than a bunch of actors who would be like, oh yes, you have it was cool having like just college kids watching that.
it's unbelievable. And getting back to Ballers as well, HBO, you played Jimmy, and you were on two episodes. But the thing is, too, Radek, is yeah, it was 2 episodes, but those are like two like big like in Canada we have like TSN Turning Point. Those are like big episodes where your character is like the huge turning point in many ways.
I mean, like, not to spoil anything, but like
Yeah.
major plot points come about through my character, which is super cool. I mean, because like I've had roles where it's just like I go on screen, I say one line, and then I run off, and like those are cool because that's how information gets brought out, and I bring the story forward. But the cool thing with Jimmy is that he's around for a couple episodes, and you find out so much information through him, through the actions that happen to Jimmy, and then from Jimmy, and then just everything surrounding him is like super well thought out. Because a lot of shows nowadays they bring out information like, and now this is what's happening. It's like, and that's kind of boring. But with Ballers, it's like, I mean, props to the writers. They know how to bring out information in such an organic and cool way.
Oh, absolutely. And we talked about it a little bit too. You're 21 years old, and you were talking to me about the fact that you think that it's an advantage that you kind of look a little younger, and that's good. And we were talking about it. I mean, it's a really good time to be kind of a young-looking actor, because of shows like Stranger Things, even Riverdale. Like it's a really good time now for young actors and actresses.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and even for legal reasons, it's such a cool time because in Ballers, I looked 15. After wardrobe, makeup, and hair, like I looked super young. And that's cool because they don't have to worry about hiring like a minor to play like a young kid. Yeah. So even through legal reasons, I have an advantage. But even now for my career, like 2 years ago, no kid roles were coming about. I mean, other than Nickelodeon and Disney, it was kind of dead for like teenagers and kids. So now with like you said, Stranger Things, like that's kind of like the height of it. Like
oh, absolutely.
Like this is where we're going right now. And older audiences don't seem to mind at all. Like they don't care at all that, they're watching a show about kids or a movie about kids. They really enjoy it. But it's funny you mentioned that I look younger because I shaved yesterday, but my face probably looks 16, 17. But then I went to the gym where I've been going to like for 3 years, and I wore a tank top once. And my face looked like this, and then the tank top, I had chest hair. And they were like, Radek, where did that come from? I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, you have chest hair. Like the people that worked at the gym were like all freaking out. It's like, yeah, I have chest hair. I've had chest hair for years. What are you talking about? And they're like, no, yeah. I was like, oh, it's the first time I've worn a tank top. Like, but yeah, I've had chest hair. And then for the Proactive commercial, because they saw it, I had to shave completely. So then again, like people thought I was like just a really young kid. And I've been going there for years, and they all thought I was like 16. I was like, no.
But are you starting to get recognized a lot more from Ballers and from the Proactive commercial?
Yeah. Oh, for Ballers for sure, because that happened more recently. It was funny. I was going to acting classes in Burbank, and I had just come from an audition. It was like such a busy day, and I didn't get to eat the entire day. So I had like 30 minutes before acting class to eat. So I went to this Italian restaurant, and I'm like scarfing down some pasta, and then this big Italian guy who's kind of sitting in the corner. He looks at me. He goes, "Hey, I was watching Ballers the other day." I was like, "Oh yeah, that was me." He's like, "Cool," and that was the whole interaction we had. And then he leaves, and I asked the waiter, like, "Hey, can I get the check?" And he goes, "Oh yeah." And then I'm waiting at like acting classes in like 5 minutes. I'm like, "Where's the check? Where's the check? Where's the check? Where's the check?" And then finally, like I stand up and I go over to the register. I'm like, "Hey, I need to pay. I need to go." He's like, "Oh, you didn't know that guy paid for you?" I was like, "Oh no, I didn't know. Like that's awesome." So yeah, it was like such a cool.
Jimmy got a free meal.
Yeah, I got a free meal. It was awesome. Yeah, the guy was super cool. I actually ran into him when I left the restaurant. And I thanked him. He was a really cool guy.
That's really cool. And what's on how are you able to kind of, like I said, you're a younger kid, you're 21, you're up and coming. How are you able to balance, like work life in Hollywood and your social life? Like, I mean, is it hard? I'm sure it's hard.
Yes and no. I mean, I have to cancel a lot of plans sometimes. Where it's like- but what's good is that my friends understand. They're like, this is his career. This is what he wants to do for the rest of his life. Like we completely understand. You don't have to go out to Taco Tuesday with us. It's all good.
Taco Tuesday? Oh man.
Yeah. So
Missing
they
out on
understand.
tacos.
Like, when I cancel, they're like, it's chill, it's chill. But I think what's cool is that I'm during the day, like full on Hollywood auditions, meetings, and then at night, I go to college.
Oh wow.
So that's a cool balance that I
Are
have.
you studying acting?
I was no, I'm not studying acting. I was focusing more on like practical things, I guess, like marketing. I was doing so that was nice. And now I'm taking some more like film and script writing classes. Things I'll only take classes if it like benefits my acting career.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like marketing is huge.
Oh,
Like
for sure.
like social media is now like at its peak. So like I took those classes. I took advertising classes. I took business of film and TV classes, script writing classes because I'm like writing now. I'm writing my own scripts.
Wow.
So like I'm trying to get it all. But anything that I do in college still comes back to acting.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
Hollywood.
So you're a busy guy.
Yeah.
That's what you're basically saying. No time for tacos.
No, I know. Actually, yesterday I had tacos. It was Taco
Oh.
Tuesday. But yet normally I have to like I'm either like just auditioning all day and then at night I have class and like or acting class or it's different things. So yeah, I've been staying busy recently.
And TV is just unbelievable now. I mean, Ballers on HBO is just an unbelievable show. You see it, you see the cast. It's phenomenal. And it's a simple question. I mean, I don't think a day goes by where you're not in your room or going to audition and be like, I have been in Ballers.
Yeah, no, it's weird. It's like it's mostly like every time I get on social media now
Yeah.
where it's like, oh wait, yeah, that's right. Like how could I forget? And it's just such a weird feeling because I think I've sort of become desensitized to it because
Oh,
I was
absolutely.
like I was freaking out about it. I was it's the biggest thing I've ever booked. So I was just like milking it for a long time. I was like, I need to like squeeze everything out of this experience as much as possible. And now it's like, now I kind of just think about it. I'm like, yeah, I was on Bubblers. Like that's just like a good feeling rather than like, oh my, like freaking out. Now it's just like, yeah, I can handle it now a bit more.
And you were working with The Rock, who you said you grew up kind of,
Yeah.
not idolizing, but you said you loved The Rock growing up.
Yeah. I mean, I had his action figures. I was like a 5-year-old kid in Costa Rica, like watching WrestleMania. And then like it's weird, like going from playing like a miniature size of him and then like being on set with him, being like this is weird. Like I think it was just like that meant to be,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And going back to what we were saying as well too is, there's so much content out there right now, and I've had a lot of actors from other shows. Like I've had Charles Baker, he played Skinny Pete in Breaking Bad. He's been on my show, and then we had Kelly O'Coin, who played Dollar Bill in Billions, on the show. They were saying like, there's more competition out there. Like there's a lot of actors and actresses, but there's more content out there, so there's more opportunities.
Yeah. Actually, I think I'm lucky right now that so many different platforms have come out.
Yeah.
Like Netflix is making their own content. Amazon's making their own content. Even YouTube. YouTube has YouTube Red, and now they have like their own channels. So it's Hulu. Even Hulu is making their own stuff. Like it's a really cool time to be an actor. But it's kind of a weird time to be an actor because there's a lot of when you get paid for TV for like a network show, that's different. That's a scale, and that's very much like a set thing that's been happening for a long time.
Yeah.
But now with the whole new internet fad, a lot of actors can work on a TV show for a long, long time, but they'll get paid internet scale.
Oh.
So they'll be working, but they'll be struggling at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, and web shows are huge right now. Like we've had actors and actresses and producers of web shows on our show, and it's just that's a whole different thing right now because they're making web shows, and a lot of people are making web shows for the sole purpose of getting like a Netflix and a Hulu to kind of pick it up, and they can make a show out of it.
Yeah, and that's a really smart way of doing it actually. Because it's free kind of, if you do a web show, I mean free and not free because you have to, when you produce it yourself, it's basically out of pocket. But it's a great way to pitch shows now, where it's like, hey, we did this, we were hoping that you can finance it and bring it forward. And YouTube Red does that really, really well. They will support a lot of web shows and young producers.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think we're going to wrap up, man. But thank you so much for coming on the show, dude. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me on. This is fun.
No, absolutely. And any closing remarks? Anything you want to plug? Or
Yeah. I mean, if you just want to keep updated with my career, I'd love to keep in contact with you guys at Radek Lord on all my social media. And that way, hopefully you guys can keep yourselves updated with my career. And then thank you to Wendy who set this up.
Oh, absolutely. Wendy Shepard.
Yeah.
Studio Matrix, 100%. Well, this has been Popternative. Thank you for everyone who has been checking out our content on our website, popternative.com. If you like what you saw, you can watch previous episodes on our YouTube channel, popternative.com/podcast. Until next time, this is Radek Lord and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.